So I've had this job on my list for quite a while, and what I've wanted to do is to replace both front struts and also replace the nearside driveshaft, as the inner CV joint has become a bit vocal. Now, the first thing that you need to do if you're going to be replacing the struts is you need to get the windscreen scuttle out of the way. That is, if it's been on there for quite a while, easier said than done. So, as you can see, what I've had to do is use a puller to basically get the wipers out of the way. That actually works surprisingly well, and these pullers are available quite cheaply on Amazon, so as long as you're not using them for anything exactly intensive, the cheap ones are absolutely fine, especially when it's for sort of low force stuff like this. I mean, there isn't much sort of tension that those wipers are under, so I wouldn't use these pullers for, say, removing a crank pulley or something similar. I'd probably sort of get something more expensive and from a recognised brand. But for small stuff like this, absolutely fine. Scuttle itself is, or was certainly on mine at some point, held in at the bottom with some clips. Those are long gone, but what I've done is I've just basically propped it up like that using that can of plus gas, and that gives me access to the strut tops. Now for the strut tops, I've actually used a special tool. Again, you can get quite cheaply on Amazon, which effectively has a hollow socket that you can put another socket and extension through to basically get onto the top of the strut, which I think in my case was a 9mm socket that I needed, an extension. You can then use that to loosen off the strut top, which, if I remember rightly, was an 18mm bolt, and then you're able to sort of get started on things below. One thing that you should purchase when you're doing the struts, even if you're just taking them off for the benefit of getting the drive shaft out, get yourself some new strut to bearing carrier or hub carrier bolts. The bolts are stretch bolts and they will not be suitable for use when you put them back onto the car, so that's just something to be aware of. Make sure that you have new strut to hub carrier bolts available. There's 2 sets of each. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm removing the stake on the drive shaft bolt, and as you can see, they're just knocking it out of place. I would use a lump hammer, but I'll be honest, I forgot where I left it, so I'm just using this chisel. Then I'm putting the wheel back on, and then taking off that hub nut bolt that you can see there, just removing that. That's loosened that off, jacking the car back up again, supporting it on the axle stand, and then I'm going to get ready to remove the lower bolts on the strut. Now, it's actually a good idea to turn the steering wheel towards the left in this case, so I can actually get these strut bolts off easily. You can also see the drive shaft there is in a position where it's going to be able to come out quite easily. To the top of the picture, you've got the ABS wiring that needs to be removed, and to the middle of the picture, well, certainly to the middle earlier, you have the brake cable, the brake line, flexible brake hose, which also needs to be removed out of the way. There is also a drop link for the anti-roll bar. That was another hollow socket and a 7mm extension with small socket to hold it in place. You can see I'm using that special tool again just to pop that out of place, and then you can see the strut is freely available and ready to move. If you were just using the tools to do a strut job, it's not actually that long to replace a strut. It doesn't really take that long at all. On the other side, I had the other side strut done in about 30 minutes or so, so it really is a quick job. The thing that extended time with this one is obviously me doing my standard bit of rust proofing that I do with every car when I do a suspension job, but also this drive shaft. Now, the engine in this particular Corsa is an A13 DTC diesel, and the transmission is an F17 5-speed transmission. Now the thing that I noticed is I was supplied a drive shaft that was suitable for I think a Z13 DTJ. Now the splines on the end of the drive shaft are completely different, so they're a completely different profile. On mine they're kind of like a triangular profile, so they look like a Toblerone, if you will, whereas on the drive shaft that I received the profile is more like a trapezoid shape. So physically that drive shaft will not fit into this transmission, and that is something that I came up against a little bit later in this video. What is a good thing though is I was able to remove the drive shaft and actually verify my thoughts that that inner CV joint is past its best. It's very loose and it needs replacing sooner rather than later. So at the time of speaking on this video, I've got one on order which is for an A13 DTC, so it should hopefully be the correct one. What I'll also do at some point in the future is change the transmission fluid, but you can see when popping that drive shaft out there was no fluid coming out of the transmission. I mean, it does have quite a deep sump, so it's possible that there isn't literally just not enough fluid to sort of come out because it's all at the bottom of the transmission. Here you can see my struggles trying to get this drive shaft in. It's the correct length, the end CV appears to be correct, but it is that inner CV that is the one that's causing me the problems. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was just the circlip initially, but when I double checked I discovered that problem with the splines. So I think the Z13 DTJ is an earlier version of the engine, and obviously it has an earlier version of the transmission which had a different internal final drive. So if you are looking at an A13 DTC and you're looking at replacement transmissions, you need to be careful because those splines will differ. The other thing that I've noticed is, certainly with these GM era Vauxhalls, it is becoming difficult to get parts like this. So these drive shafts, I actually went to Vauxhall direct and I said how much for a drive shaft, and they quoted me, believe it or not, £1,500, which is absolutely ludicrous. Well, it's over £1,000. It may not be £1,500. I think it's £1,400 or £1,100. Either way, it was way more than I was expecting. And the BMW behind it, you can actually get two lower arms from BMW for £1,200, and that's fitted. So it's £610 each per side to have a pair of lower arms fitted. That's not buying them, that's actually fitted completely. So when you sort of are trying to get a drive shaft for this, which is a small economy car, £1,200 is ridiculous, but that seems to be something that seems to have happened since Stellantis have become involved with Opel and Vauxhall, but that's another story. Anyway, I've put the new strut on. I'm tightening up the hub to strut bolts, so the hub carrier to strut bolts. And what I'll be doing in a second is I'll be putting onto screen and just slowing it down the torque values. So we've got the suspension strut to swivel hub bolts. Now that is in Newton meters, and then you've got the angle tighten that you need to do as well, so you'll need an angle gauge for your torque wrench, and above that you've got the drive shaft retaining nut as well, and I think also I've got the top mount values on there as well, so I left those on the screen for a little bit longer so you could see. So I've got everything reassembled and together. I've got the strut top bolts on there, and what I'm doing now is just jacking up the front suspension and putting on that drop link bolt, so just getting that done. The drive shaft is back in, and what I'll be doing in a moment is putting the wheel back on, as you can see there, and then tightening that drive shaft nut down. Now with the drive shaft nut I actually did it to a 160 or 170 Newton meters, which has actually proven to be absolutely fine. I've driven the car probably around about 100 miles since I've done this job. There's no undue noises, no undue clunks or anything of that sort of nature. And that's because it's a used drive shaft, so I'm not actually doing it up to the new torque ratings that are specified. Now what I forgot to do after torquing up the wheels was I forgot to put a stake into the drive shaft nut, and that's very important to do so that the drive shaft nut doesn't have any chance of moving. So you can see there I'm just tapping in a stake using the lump hammer, which I actually found, and just putting the wheel back on again and then torquing it all back up again. Wheels are 110 Newton meters for those wheel nuts. You also see I had a nice little magnetic tray there as well. That's something I've been missing for a while, so I've got myself a nice little magnetic tray so I don't lose bolts and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching.